baisser. Si tu rentres droit, tu sors tout droit. Ça doit aller. C'est plus facile à dire qu'à faire, d'accord, mais pour se mémoriser, c'est pas très compliqué. Autant que vous voyez, d'abord là, il y a quand même beaucoup plus de portes sur cette épreuve d'attelage qu'il y a d'obstacles sur un parcours de vélo. Et en particulier, il y a ces deux dispositifs, Alexandre, avec donc à chaque fois que vous avez deux cônes l'un en face de l'autre, c'est une porte, mais vous avez aussi ces deux gros dispositifs avec ces structures en bois qui sont des obstacles en tant que tels, on les appelle des obstacles. Et donc il faut enchaîner les portes ABCDEF. Et là, pour se mémoriser l'ordre, le sens dans lequel on tourne, le sens dans lequel on franchit, c'est pas facile, pas simple.
Vous avez aussi vous voyez le numéro 8, juste devant vous, cette année il est là, on a fait un coup de monde, ce qu'on appelle le pont en bois surélevé de 20 cm du sable du Point-Clément, et il fait un petit peu plus de 6 mètres de long le pont, il est au numéro 8, avec deux cônes, avec des petites balles à l'entrée qui sont évidemment très fragiles, il y a une interdiction de toucher l'une ou l'autre, sinon
Hi Philip, how are you?
Dans un sens, puis dans l'autre. Et tout à l'heure, j'ai entendu parler tous les meneurs entre eux, de se dire, bah oui, c'est la finale. Oui, le chef de piste a un petit peu compliqué la chose parce que c'est la finale et il va y avoir des choix à faire. Vous allez voir les attelages pouvoir prendre des options possibles pour gagner du temps. Parfois passer même à l'intérieur des obstacles pour essayer de gagner du temps. Et notamment, en fin de parcours aussi, j'ai entendu parler d'une option très serrée du 11 au 12. Du 11 au 12, vous allez voir, il y a beaucoup de conduite à faire, à demander aux chevaux. Les chevaux qui sont au nombre de 4, avec les deux chevaux collés à l'attelage devant, qui s'appellent les chevaux timons, les timoniers, les chevaux qui vont tirer l'attelage, et devant ce qu'on appelle dans la discipline les chevaux de volée qui sont là pour diriger les directions et donner tout le sens de la marche à l'attelage. Voilà, et tout ça avec les règles du driver, du meneur, pardon, qui même la lance et qui dit à son cheval de timon, allez, tire un petit peu plus, galope un petit peu plus, et à son cheval de voler, là maintenant, tourne, là, vite, alors on essaye tous ensemble d'aller le plus vite possible. Vous allez voir, c'est palpitant. Juste si vous êtes assis devant dans les loges, attention, tous les ans il y a du sable, un petit peu de sable qui vole. Attention, protégez-vous, parce que je vous promets que tous les ans, ça tourne au grand galop, par exemple du 6 au 7, à la réception du 8 aussi en général, ça galope. Un super moment, Jean-Baptiste, un super moment.
Welcome to Bordeaux, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining us. Here we are, the final, the culmination of an incredible 2023-24 series. The 6 top qualified drivers and their fantastic horses are just about to play out before us in this glorious arena in Bordeaux. We're in this vast building. It measures about 1.5 kilometres long, and the arena is at the top end of it, and we are just about to summarise on your screens what happened. Boyd 1, 2, 3, he was dominant until Stockholm, and Bram got in there, and then Bram took legs. 4 and 5, Stockholm and Geneva went to the Dutchman. Big Ben back in London. Boyd's coming home. He took that, but only just. In Mechelen, the Boyd-Bram contest again, but it was all about the Belgian, Dries Degrieck. In Leipzig, the old order was upset and we had a new winner. It's all to play for here in Bordeaux. Who is going to be our next world champion? Scenes here from the arena. Late at night, we've just had a fantastic jumping World Cup. Swiss winner Dries Degrieck was in pole position there, but it's all about the driving now. We have our 6 drivers, 1 round tonight, but it really counts because we have a slightly different format in the final, so that 50% of the difference, the penalties converted to seconds, they are carried over. So whomever is lying in first place at the end of this evening, we're just about 11:15 at night here, but no doubt all sorts of time differences. That's our start list. Benjamin Aillaud for the home nation, for France, our host. He is in here as a wild card. Then we have Koos de Ronde for the Netherlands, Dries Degrieck, Michael Brauchle, Ijsbrand Chardon, Bram Chardon, father and son, and then last to go, because they are competing in their ranking order, in the order they qualified, it is, of course, the reigning world champion, the man from Australia, Boyd Exell. Scenes here of the drivers just walking Johan Jacob's course. We'll talk a little bit more about that before the competition itself gets on. Bram Chardon, he last won the world title in 2022 in Leipzig. He is aiming for his 3rd World Cup title. Johan Jacobs, he is designing here. Been a lot of chat about this course. It's quite technical, 14 different elements. Each knock, each ball that rolls, each letter that flies, that is 4 penalties, which are converted to seconds, so jolly expensive. 2 marathon-style obstacles, numbers 6 and 10. Ijsbrand Chardon, what a season he's had. Been on fantastic form. Father and son driving their grey horses. Bram's pretty much stuck with the same combination throughout. Ijsbrand introduced a couple of newer horses, even in London. And that London leg on the Friday night, if you were watching or lucky enough to be there, when Ijsbrand was only a second behind Boyd, and then Koos was a second behind them. So although the results and all odds would be on Boyd, with his 5 wins from 7 starts, actually, if you've looked at the performances, at really how close those results have been, what's perhaps happened in the opening competitions, competition 1, which doesn't count for the ranking points, that effectively sets the running order for the next day. But it's all about confidence, it's all about form and how those horses go. That looks like a close-up shot of Koos de Ronde. Koos, who was last World Cup champion in 2013, 11 years ago. The fantastic warm-up arena just outside. Ijsbrand going through it all in his mind. 8,000 capacity in the arena, but beyond what we're bringing you live, there's this enormous hall, and it is absolutely packed with people and restaurants and food and shops and families, and still buzzing. Some great shots there. The surface, although it's been, the top's just been fluffed up with a chap whizzing round with his arena harrows on a quad bike, it's actually quite compact if you think about some of the surfaces and the effect they have on the going, and perhaps how the wheels might flick up some sand against a precarious ball. But it's a fairly compact surface that you just have to walk on it, or a carriage wheel or a hoof will compact it, and that will give for some quite fast running. The opening route is like an open figure of 8, but there's some very strategically placed cones, and you will get to know the course more times our combinations go through the cones and the obstacles, race across the diagonals, and there are lots of different options. That is probably the key factor in Johan Jacob's course design. It is a final. We do ask more questions, more technical questions at this end of the series than we do at the opening legs in Lyon and Maastricht. But the horses all in peak fitness. They all looked fantastic in the trot up, 4 o'clock local time. To see them, the condition, the top lines, and in particular the standout team in terms of how they presented themselves, I'd have to say it was Boyd's team. They just walked in with such presence, and the quality of their paces and the trot across all of them. But they seemed to arrive knowing that they were at a final. But that's pure conjecture. It's all about the performance. It's about pushing and not losing control. It's the gamble that you take between speed, between the tight lines, tight on the cones, tight on those obstacle elements, that just you have to breathe on sometimes and they can come off. There really is very little margin for gambling. And a lot of the chat between the drivers and the feedback to the course builders and the officials was a very interesting line. The bridge against one of the long sides, you can just see it on the left-hand side of the arena on your screens now, the wooden bridge. It's numbers 8 and 11. But when they're coming over towards the last third of the course through number 11, number 7 is strategically placed, that pair of cones. And so it doesn't make getting to 12 that straightforward. And then there's the option of cutting back down through number 6. It's a tighter line, but you might just knock a ball. As we welcome into the arena for their parade of competitors, leading the way, our top ranked driver and reigning world champion, Boyd Exell, with Emma Olsen and Hugh Scott Barrett on the back of the carriage. Hugh, having said he wasn't going to do any more back steps, is back on. He came in London, said he'd been convinced, and he was in Leipzig and making his 3rd appearance. Very much the A-team that have helped Boyd to so many titles indoors and out. As Boyd says, all he has to do is steer. He feels he has the best team. He feels he has the best horses. And he says that when you have the best horses, you have an even bigger responsibility to do right by them, to do justice to their talent, their training, and their ability. So the 2 full grey teams of the Chardons, father and son, Bram and Ijsbrand. In fact, one of Bram's horses is the FEI Horse of the Month. And if you get a chance when you've finished watching our coverage, do look that up and read a little bit about what Bram has said about Dries Degrieck, who's been a mainstay of his team for many years. And it's an interesting analysis of the sorts of qualities and characters that really help a team. And Capitani's main characteristic that really helps is his calmness. He's calm. And when Bram says go, he goes, and when he says stop, he stops. But he doesn't boil over. He's not the fastest, but he's very good in an obstacle, and evidently he doesn't like being away from his friends. He's a proper team horse. He likes the social side. So do look that up and read the FEI Horse of the Month. Michael Brauchle for Germany can be absolutely so fast over the courses when he gets it right. Very competitive, always very forward, a marathon specialist on the outdoor circuit as well. And he's got these 2 cracking leaders that I really enjoy watching them working together. They're quite small horses. It was interesting being in the stabling arena area earlier, watching the driving horses being paraded past some of the show jumpers who are very, very tall, and our driving horses do look quite petite and compact in comparison. There we have Dries Degrieck, the Belgian, He said in his interview afterwards how proud he was of his horses. His leaders are only 7 and 8. He's only in his 3rd series. He's got 3 Dutch warm bloods, 1 purebred Hackney in there, and they worked as the most incredible unit in Leipzig. That was the takeaway feeling, that they pulled together, they covered the ground, they were compact, but they were powerful. And they are very high striding horses. They have quite a high knee action. There's a lot of power that comes through the shoulder and the forelegs in those horses as well. Benjamin Aillaud, he is here as the host's wildcard. He's driving his 4 Lusitanos, and they are 14. Interestingly, he's used them in his Liberty displays, and they were only actually broken to drive when they were 12, so they're fairly new to it, but he's been working with them for many years, for 10 years or so, in his displays from the ground. And I asked him earlier what he'd been doing to prepare, because he's only driven in 1 World Cup this series. He was in Lyon, and he said he spent the time between the 2 French events preparing, but he has really enjoyed training these horses, does a lot of work under saddle with them as well, and he's spent the winter months preparing them for their outdoor season. But tonight in Bordeaux, it is all about what is going to happen between the cones, through the obstacles, and against the clock. Fruto, Fez, Famoso, and Fiasco. His Lusitanos. Benjamin Aillaud for France, and he has his wife Magali. He's also a very talented horsewoman, and Hélène Rabat on the back. So Magali is crouched down there, just ready to ping into action. The course was actually built very quickly, in about 15 or 20 minutes after the jumping and the prize giving from the World Cup. A tremendous class we've just had. Just about a full house still. It was sold out, there were no tickets left at all. And his very patriotic tape there on the boots as he winds them up, improving and muscling up all the time, this team of horses, as Ben brings them round the short side and use these early rounds as timing markers for what is about to come, as we see our first competitor go in our final here in Bordeaux. Sit back and enjoy what promises to be a fantastic evening of action. Through to the Oxer. He is one that has cut down through that obstacle. It is a gamble. You're tight on lines, but there's more to knock. Swing round through 4. It's that opening figure of 8. Nothing to add so far for Ben as he drops into A. Now, how dearly would you love to go straight on, but all the way around to B, and that will be 4 to add. That's just a rub there, but it was enough to knock off the ball. C, all changes of rein, tight round, that middle element to go to D. The horse is dancing. They will learn the course. Another knot there, 8 to add so far. 2 down in number 6. This all happened so quickly in a driving World Cup. Through the F gate. Oh, we've had an adjustment on the clock there. We will just an extra loop there. We've had a 4 and an 8. We will bring you confirmation of that in due course. Over the bridge, so that's the first time over the bridge. That's number 8. There's Ben. All about those quick reactions on the reins. Feet working as well, all parts of the body at work here on those foot brakes. 2 different pedals for the front and the back. Forward, you just want to keep them going, but look how much those horses are turning back on themselves. All the communication down through those reins, big loops, allowing with that outside hand and arm giving them as much possible, as much momentum as they can have, but you must sweep round the outside. Number 11 all ready for Ben. Still on 4, he's through 12, we've got 14 to go, so 13 next, the second of the oxes on that diagonal. Round, and he's just about done, and the clock stops at 158.63. 158.63 is the time. We'll just confirm it briefly. Went up to 8, but it went back to 4 again. Just a great shot there, showing one of our stewards with his measuring stick, popping that back. 162.63. Keep a note of those times. Covering the ground well. Confirmation that 4 has been added. Good time of 158.63, 162.63. Really helps to know your falls for your quick arithmetic as we welcome into the arena 3 of the Dutch here, and that's Koos de Ronde. Just a quick, yep, there you can see, just a rub there from the quarters of that lead horse. Has been a qualified driver in the series in the past, but was with this relatively new team, not in the top 10 this year, but helped open proceedings in Lyon at the start of the series. Now, what can Koos de Ronde do? 47 years of age, but so experienced as he winds up. His fast-running horses, they just flatten and run these horses. They're incredible. You might notice a slightly different colour. They've had to swap in a new one. One of the greys had to come out after Leipzig. Marie on the back there, and Peter keeping it in the family. Oh, an early 4 for Koos de Ronde. But these horses do eat up the ground so well. They are fast against the clock, and he is always so committed. They really lean into their turns and keep a tremendous forward momentum, long strides on them. They're some of the taller horses when you see them out of harness on the circuit. Good turn there. That was very fluid. Just see that ball on the ground from the Oxer number 2, confirmation of where those penalties came. Horses really, particularly those leaders, they've done this all season. They just dig deep for him, tuck their noses in, and off they go. So keen, loving the job of being able to run with their mates. As the music ramps up, it comes very quickly between 6 and 10. Not any time to breathe and gather yourself. And don't forget all the routes as well. See, this one in particular, the second one, was bedecked with different options. Each driver will know their strengths. Are they better off, as Koos sometimes does, taking a longer line when you know your horses are fast over the ground, or if you have power? It's all to play for here in Bordeaux. Koos de Ronde, Tibi, Zenter, Kalou and Edgar. 13, that Oxer the square. He's cut in again through the obstacle. Now look at these times. This is looking very impressive from Koos de Ronde. Wow. He's just eaten up so much time on that course. Goodness gracious. 138.89. And his total 1 142.89. 142.89. So as our second driver looks pretty happy with that, just the one knock. And Marie smiling on the back. Yeah, Marie is pleased. There is no drive-off tonight, so it's all about the placings and what is carried forward into this all-important competition tomorrow, 4:45 local time. There is a drive-off tomorrow, 3. Yeah, horse's feet just caught that one as he swept round. But a lovely forward flowing, smooth, committed round from Koos and his horses. Super. Dries Degrieck in next, the man of the moment after Leipzig. What is the pressure of his first win, of the giant slaying that he did 2 weeks ago? Is he somebody who's going to be fueled by that, or is it going to be a burden? We will have to wait and see. But these horses were magnificent in Lyon, and already they look to be on fire again. Look at the power that they have in their stride. They seem to, gosh, have springs in their legs. And they are so willing. And he drives with such boldness. His reactions on those reins instinctively fast into A. And then you've got the loop round to B. Oh gosh, yes, just made it. Looked like he might have slightly overshot, but no, that was a good dart round from the leaders. Quick, quick, quick into D already. He will be good against the clock. Nothing to add so far. Can he get out on a 0 from number 6? Already it's looking very, very good from Dries Degrieck. Hunter, Lyon, Caneby and Big Star. And he had a quick look down, split time, 175 faster. How good is that in the green? 175, and Koos de Ronde was fast. But this is faster from Dries Degrieck, our winner in Leipzig. They are so bendy, these horses. The suppleness and the agility that they bring to their turns, and the maturity. Those leaders are 7 and 8. Looping round that carefully placed cone. So many different questions on this route, and he swung round. Their goodness, look at that carriage. Look at the velocity that he had on that turn. Are we going to see a similar level of performance to Leipzig? It's looking like it from Dries Degrieck. Look at those horses go. This is very good. Not quite as fast as Koos de Ronde, but very fast and nothing to add. He just, by the tiniest of margins, slips behind Koos. 143.77, but a great round and no knocks. That's a very, very good round from the Belgian. Koos de Ronde, 142.89. Dries, as we've just seen, and congratulating him. He did a great job. They were so pleased with what happened a couple of weeks ago. Dries, 143.77. So close. The horses skipping round on great, willing, supple, all that energy that comes from their shoulders, pushing into the breast collars, generating the speed, whilst those wheel horses are pulling the carriage. Great teamwork from the Belgian, his horses, and Frederick on the back, and he waves the crowd in gratitude as we welcome in Michael Brauchle, 33-year-old. He and Dries actually came into the series on the same ranking points. Michael had a few good results. He slipped into second in Stockholm. And in Maastricht, so he's had some podium finishes already this year, and these horses can be very, very fast. And if ever there was a pair of leaders who just love their job and bring so much character to what they do, they're very expressive little horses, and they are little. They grow several hands in harness when, oh goodness, look at that on the side of the arena. Record-breaking speeds. Oh, he's just looked like it all got a little bit too fast and strong, just had to anchor up a little bit. He just needed to get back a little bit more before he went into the obstacle. Curling round on that right rein. It is this really small circle from C to D, but he's done it. He's kept the balls on top, kept his lines tight. He is very good on that when it all comes together. These dancing leaders, so keen to find the gaps. Who knows if they can understand the letters as well. Split time, where is he? Little bit down on the clock by the looks of things, plus 3.76. Just had a slight break in his momentum before he entered the obstacle. A comes around so quickly. The mental agility from everybody involved to focus on those routes. C talking to them all the way. They know their names. The two in front, Joey and Baloo. The two horses behind his wheeler horses are a bit taller, actually. And that's fairly standard for a driven team as he pings out. Little bit down on time, but nothing to add. Let's see what he can make up. Oh, and it's gone. It's gone. 4 to add. That was number 12. 13, the Oxer got through that in one piece, cuts up through the obstacle as he crosses the line. 8 to add, 151.62. 151.62 is the time. He gave it everything. The horses gave it everything. Pops him into third place at the moment. His total is 159.62. Confirmation on your screens there, 159.62 for Michael Brauchle. And he puffs out, he gives it absolutely everything. Talking to these super horses. He always comes out totally committed, and the other drivers admit to watching his speeds and his checkpoints, what we call the split times. Each combination will have their points in the course. It could be through 2:13, in and out of each of the obstacles, and that's what they aim for. It's part of the strategy of how they compare themselves. It's one of the aspects of Hugh Scott Barrett's contribution to Boyd's team. That's what they do as well. Oh, yes. No doubt there for Michael Brauchle, as in comes Ijsbrand Chardon for the Netherlands, father and son. Quite a remarkable story. And the talent in this family, the sisters, the daughters, everybody is totally committed, focused. Age 63 now, and having the series of his career, has been a world champion in the past. Batosa. Both the Chardons, father and son, favour these Hungarian Lipizzaners. They're intelligent, they're fast, they're powerful. As Ijsbrand starts his round. Loves the atmosphere. His horses rise to the occasion. As he goes in, 4 to add already for Ijsbrand. That early figure of 8 just going back through the start gates and into A. Again, you're changing rein between each of the gates, and then this big question, but it's driven pretty well so far from C to D, but these horses, they've had so much match practice. And you see the head-on view through the crowds there. And those people down on the front, they'll be feeling the flick of the sand as it comes up off the wheels. Oh, look at that wonderful left horse there. Did you see how willing he was? You could just see from his footfall. And again, we talk about agility and the fitness of the horses, just how he danced. He hopped off his back leg there. The power that came up through his hocks, incredible. Ijsbrand Chardon. How fabulous would it be for him to win another world title? Has done so much for the sport of four-in-hand driving over the years, and a towering figure in so many successful Dutch teams as well. An incredible horseman, committed and passionate, the drive that he has with his horses. And when he says go, they know exactly what to do. Dance, dance, dance to the rhythm over this course. Back across the arena, crisscrossing through those pairs of oxers as he comes round. And where's the clock going to stop? 8 to add 1:39. The time is very competitive, 1:39.89, exactly a second slower than Koos de Ronde. So only a second between the Dutchmen, but the difference being Koos had 4 to add and Ijsbrand adds 8. Confirmation there, 1:47.89, 1:47.89, but a very, very good time there. Totally in tune, the two Dutchmen we've had in so far, very, very revealing. They don't walk the courses together, but they're never that far away from each other when they go round, but just the 8 to add for him. His horses in particular, they're pretty deep over their shoulders and what we call the crests across the top of the necks. Quite a lot of depth in that part of their bodies. The confirmation of all the different horses that have been used in this sport. Probably one of the greatest varieties that you will see in any one discipline would be across the driving, and this World Cup illustrates that beautifully. We've got Lipizzaners, Dutch Warmbloods, Hackney, all sorts of German sport horses, and in comes Bram Chardon. Has such a laser focus, has a big fan club all over the world. Was teaching recently in Florida. And there'll be lots of his friends and fans watching in the States. In fact, we've got lots of fans who've travelled here to Bordeaux from all over the country and nation, as well as the French fans. Got a contingent that come from Scotland even. As Bram Chardon, twice World Cup champion, reigning European outdoor champion with the team and individually, as he sets off, and he is one of the favourites to take another title. This is a particularly well-matched team. They run so tightly together, and Bram's superpower in this is not just his focus, but those tight lines he takes. Now that looked like a knock. I don't know if we... Yes, just as it went off shot. He's got 4 to add. Only Dries Degrieck so far has gone clear. 4 to add. He was very tight on that cone, just clipped it as he comes in. Now he makes that look easy. This is one of the things he does so well, those loops round and loses no power. His horses dance so well from leg to leg. Look at them leaning in there, Leanne Antoine on the back. His sister keeping him right, twisting the turntable break there as he comes out. What is going to be the split? This is one of the key rounds. He is faster. Bram Chardon, 1.65 faster. Let's see what happens over this second part of the course. Oh, look at that, using all his length of arm and body. He's very tall, Bram. And that translates down through the reins. He's got scope, as do his horses. Dancing round, but they mustn't knock that other cone. Out and very fluid. He is keeping his pace so well. There's no break in the momentum at all. They've got a rhythm, they're keeping to it. There is the power to go on. Adarts, the team trainer and selector, was saying earlier that when they get it right, when they're just on that cusp between control and being maybe a little bit too fast, that's what you want. It's that balance, it's that line. Oh, what a time, what a time. And it is enough to put Bram into the lead, but the margins are so tight. Bram Chardon, his time, 1:37.71. 4 to add, 1:41.71. Koos is on 1:42.89. Confirmation, Bram Chardon, even with the ball down, has popped himself into first place at the moment, but there is one more to come. Just to recap, as we are at the moment, Bram Chardon, the round you've just seen, first place, 1:41.71. Koos de Ronde, 1:42.89, just over a second between them. Both had a ball. Dries Degrieck, clear round, the only clear of the night, 1:43.77. Those are our top three. Ijsbrand Chardon, 1:47.89. Michael Brauchle, 1:59.62, and Benjamin Aillaud, 1:66.63. What a great round from Bram. And the differential carries over, but there's not much in it. It just remains to be seen what happens. He made that 12. You might remember Michael caught that as he was going out. Yeah, phew, job done. Having a quick look as we welcome in Boyd Exell, here to win his 11th title. 11. Last year it was 10. Incredible. And he's smiling, wonder what's done that. But Boyd going round, horses on such fantastic form. The team he's got this year at this event, the same team that he won the medal with last year. He's been chopping in and out a few different horses because he's done 7 events, 4 qualifying events and 3 wildcard tickets. So he's competed at more events than any other driver in the series. He's had 3 of the wildcard tickets. And Boyd Exell starts his bid for another world title. What will happen here in Bordeaux? Take a look at the times in and out of the obstacles. The split will be fascinating. He's cut through. Great line now, nothing lost. Dropping down through the obstacle to get to 4. They run so well, they work so well as a unit. He says all he has to do is steer them. Be already. He's just brought them back into his hand, onto their hocks as they go round, 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 round. That's C gate, out to D, then there's probably the longest line in the obstacle. Gosh, he's tight on that E. That was tight, but he got away with it. Fine to go through D, he's already been through, can go through it as many times afterwards, and out in 64. What is going to happen on this split? Oh, it's going to be close, close, close. Second, 1.14. 1.14 in the green for Boyd Exell. They are so close. He said ahead of the season before Lyon, this was going to be one of the tightest series for many years. And it has lived up to expectations, but he still remains in front. Hugh on the back there. Emma keeping him right on the navigation. Keeping the balls on top. F and out. Past 9. That's a great turn out of that second obstacle. Over the bridge. The line that they were questioning from 11 to 12 has presented no problems really in the greater scale of things through 13. He's clear so far. Boyd Exell is looking like he is here to win again. We will know tomorrow. 1-4-2. Well, Bram Chardon remains in front. He has split Bram and Koos, but Boyd Exell has just gone into second place. Bram Chardon, even with a ball, it's all to play for. 1:42.75. Only Boyd and Dries have produced the clear rounds. But Bram, in keeping with his season, has been fast against the clock. And when it goes well, his times have been out in front. And so really, maybe not too surprising for our results on competition 1 here in Bordeaux. Just had a quick look down there, nothing to add on the penalties for Boyd Exell. Very, very little in it. Just over a second. 0.71 to 0.75. Yes, 1.04. Just about the same margin, between Boyd and Ijsbrand in London. But confirmation on your screens there. Competition 1 current standings. Bram Chardon goes into tomorrow's all-important final round where championships are decided. 141.71. Bram is our leader. This is really, really exciting. Boyd Exell, the reigning champion, but Bram has beaten him before and he's done it again tonight. 142.75. Koos de Ronde, tremendous evening for him. Absolutely brilliant. 142.89. Look at those tiny margins. Dries Degrieck did everything right. 143.77. Ijsbrand Chardon 147.89. So close. Michael Brauchle 159.62 and Benjamin Aillaud for France 166.63. But just look at those top 4 in particular. Barely a blink between them. Now, who is Bram on the phone to? Because when Bram and Ijsbrand aren't at the same events, they call each other first. Maybe I wonder who he's having a word with, but that was a great evening for Bram Chardon. Now he's got the psychological edge going in tomorrow. He's beaten Boyd before in these finals. Is he going to do it again? Or are we going to have another surprise? Because it is less than a ball. And here we have Casper, the great Casper, who is absolutely at the heart of everything the Chardons do, with all their riding and driving, and he's a training and schooling horse, and he's been in many World Cup teams, and he just gets popped in for the prize giving. As in front of me, I'm pretty much, the commentary position is dead opposite at the other end of the arena from where all the horses and the drivers are coming in. So that goes to show he doesn't often see the pictures of how quickly those horses are being changed over. That's a tremendous team effort from all the green coats there. Casper would have been already harnessed up, and in he goes for this final bit. Each of the drivers does take, they have a spare with them. They take a spare horse in case anything happens. They can actually share a spare, so if the Chardons want to take 9 horses between them, as long as it's declared beforehand. And you can see just the noble head with the sort of pink round his eyes. That is Dries Capitani, who is the current FEI Horse of the Month. He's quite a distinguished looking gentleman when you see him in the trot-ups. He stands tall, he's got quite a sort of curious head, he holds himself quite high, and this sort of very pink skin under his muzzle and round his eyes. And just a few plaits down his mane there. But they've done a great job, and he is a tremendous wheeler. He's been such an important part of Bram's success, and he says he can rely on him so much. He's going to be 15 this year. And there we go, mopping his brow, popping the cap on. All smiles. Bram Chardon just preparing whilst they dismantle the course. We've got towers of the cones going out on trolleys with these fantastic arena party. They're all quite young, the youngsters running round, and that course was built in 15 to 20 minutes. There's Adarts, who has been just the glue and the inspiration behind the Dutch success for a long time, and they have really put a lot of foresight into training programs, into longevity. It's a very, very complete system, and then at the other end out pops world-beating results and performances. But the support for driving in particular, but horses across the nation in Holland, there's a lot of enthusiasm, very much part of what they do as a nation, the breeding programs, the support they get from the state, from individual provinces. When we were all in Exell for the European Four-in-Hand Championships, where Bram won, and we had the World Para-Driving Championships as well, the local province just put in a great deal of support financially and in other ways. They presented prizes. They really champion the horse in sport and what it brings. There's a real community behind driving, not just the 2 or 3 people that are on a carriage, but everybody can get involved at some level. Very social sport, very inclusive. That's what we pride ourselves on, inclusivity in driving, encouraging everybody can have a go. So in lightning time, the arena is cleared. It's such a well-oiled machine as we round off the proceedings in what has been a very exciting evening. Do please look up those times and have a look of disbelief as to how close it is. 141.71 Bram Chardon, 142.75 for Boyd Exell. Don't forget Bram's time though was 137.71. So 5 seconds faster. But the ball, he actually had a ball in hand over and above Boyd. Incredible. But these drivers, no sooner is this over, I'm quite sure they're going to go back and analyse the rounds, analyse where they might shave a little bit of time off tomorrow. As Koos de Ronde comes in, there's Marie, his wife, former chef d'équipe. She's been judging in America as well. They've also got 3 children. She's such a busy lady. They run such a big enterprise. in Holland, and a wonderful evening for Koos de Ronde. Marie said earlier they were just delighted to be here. They were so thrilled to have qualified and be here. What an honour it was. And then to end the first night in third place, the family will be absolutely delighted, as will their many supporters and friends all over the world. Koos has done so much for driving, such a consistent athlete individually and on the team. He had a great European Championships. He was silver, just next to Bram on the podium back in the autumn. And he hasn't been able to run the same 4 horses at every event. He's been cutting in a few different ones, so it just goes to show how long those legs are, doesn't it? The reach, and that's just, they're like greyhounds, his horses. They just flatten and run, and that's why you'll notice him taking the wider lines. It's a tactic and technique that works for him. But very clean rounds from our drivers. Great driving, as we would expect. They're all the finalists, the top 6. And good shot there. We reckon each horse about 2.5 metres, a little bit of gap between, another 2 metres or 1.5 or so for the carriage. Just goes to show how long a turnout is and how remarkable the turns and the angles they are through the obstacles in particular. The skill. And in comes Boyd, Emma on the back there. Only just in second place tonight. So a little bit for him to carry over. It is Bram's score that it works backwards from. So the difference, 50% of the difference, but not that much because the margins are so tight. Fractions being carried over, decimal points. It will remain to be seen how decisive that particular rule is that applies only to the final. What bearing will that have on the positions tomorrow? If anyone has a crystal ball, who knows? But a great opening round for Bram Chardon. He and Koos, so many times they've been on the same team for the outdoors. They compete as individuals on the World Cup, but as soon as you go outdoors and we have national, continental, or even international championships, we've got a World 4-in-hand Championship later this year in Hungary. So lots to look forward to. Still plenty of people here, despite the late hour in Bordeaux, as Bram Chardon enjoys the Dutch national anthem for his winning round. Just the one round tonight, competition 1 of our World Cup final. Don't miss tomorrow. It is going to be incredible. Boyd doesn't like to be beaten, so he will be doing all he can to tighten that margin between him and Bram. But don't forget what Dries did the other day, and Koos de Ronde, he was 3rd in Leipzig as well. He's just done it again. Plenty to look forward to. 4:45 Central European time, but wherever you are in the world, whatever the time difference, please do not miss what will be absolutely gripping competition. 8 legs have brought us to this point. We started in Lyon, across the way, southeast. We finished, just checking messages. I expect everyone's sending him a message now. Whoever you are on the end there, he is reading the message. Smiles from Boyd. He is the first to acknowledge good competition. Likes to be pushed, pushes himself even more. And there will be a lot of discussion after that round. It was clear he and Dries, the 2 clear rounds. And there's Capitani. What a super season Koos de Ronde has had. One of our most consistent carriage drivers. And was very fast. He was 138.89, only just over a second behind Bram. 137.71, a time really to be proud of. And then Ijsbrand, not far off that as well. He was fast, 139.89. Isn't that interesting when you look at it like that? Bram, Koos and Ijsbrand, the 3 Dutchmen, were all sub 140. Must have been quite an effective team talk beforehand. Boyd and Dries, tiny bit down on the clock, but both clear. 142.75 Boyd, 143.77. Those were the times there. Lots to think about. As we welcome organisers, sponsors and dignitaries onto the back of these carriages. It's about 20 to 12 here in Bordeaux. But the parties are just getting going outside. And there's Casper out in front. So thank you very, very much for joining us. Please do come back tomorrow. I'm Sarah Danson on behalf of the team at FEI TV and everyone in Bordeaux. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do come back tomorrow for our final round when a new world champion will be crowned. Don't miss it.
time to begin.
Bonne soirée à vous tous. Et à demain.
Bonsoir Jean-Baptiste. Et à demain pour de nouvelles.